Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having a wonderful start to your day and a great week out there so far. Here to bring you the latest information that we have on many things in this morning's video. The first thing we'll cover is this epic winter storm ongoing across areas of Colorado and New Mexico this morning. It's been ongoing over the last about 24 to 36 hours and will continue to be ongoing over the next couple days. So we're going to get very detailed on this right off the dot. We'll speak on accumulations. We'll show you what some short-range model guidance is showing over the rest of the duration of this storm, what it could look like. And yeah, we'll get very detailed for you folks, like we always do when we're speaking on the weather on this channel. After we get done doing that, we will give you an update on the tropics and all the latest information on Hurricane Rafael. We're certainly praying for you folks in Cuba. I'm hearing there's a blackout across western Cuba, so certainly you guys, got hit pretty hard by a major hurricane as it did strengthen to Category 3 status before making landfall along the southern western coastline of Cuba last night. So we'll speak on that, and then of course we'll give you an update as far as what's going to happen weather-wise across the entire lower 48 for your day. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Folks asked for prayers yesterday morning, and I appreciate you guys praying. Ask just you guys continue to pray. We lost our first pet yesterday morning, Socks. I don't think I've ever spoken much on Socks, but he was an 11-year-old German Shepherd Lab mixed. He was our first pet me and my wife ever got. And of course, saw my kids born, was with them through the early years. And yeah, just it stinks. It was very sudden. Don't want to speak on it too long. I might start crying or something. But it was very sad, very sad. Woke up this morning and, he's just laying on the floor. And he wasn't dead at that point. He hadn't passed, but he proceeded to pass later that morning. So just asking for prayers from my family. I don't think it's quite hit me yet, but also asking for prayers for my co-workers. A daughter, Logan, she's just a preteen, like 11, 12 years old. They found a brain tumor, a tumor on her brain, and yeah, pretty rough stuff. So just asking for prayers for healing on that. That's not an emergency. They found it. It's nothing they have to do emergency surgery on right now, but they are going to have to do surgery and get it out. So asking for prayers for the Sturkey family. Her name is Logan. Their last name's Sturkey. It's my boss's little girl. So just asking for prayers for that too in my family. Just been a rough fall, but I know everybody is going through something. I know that, there's a lot of people out there that have it a lot worse than I do. So with that being said, let's get rolling this morning. So this is the winter storm across Colorado and New Mexico. You see these lightning bolts firing off. And if I twist some words up this morning, guys, I am definitely not 100% with it, but we're just going to try to rock and roll through this. It's been a rocky morning this morning too, so it's just a struggle this morning, but we're going to try to push through this for you guys because there is a lot to talk about. So if I twist some words up, jumble some words, even worse than I normally do on an average day, just forgive me out here. So you see the snow, it's falling across Colorado, New Mexico. We even have some thunder snow. It's pretty wild stuff. I mean, there is some hefty dynamics with this. Looks like it's snowing in Albuquerque. I mean, it's snowing in Pueblo. And just pretty much all of southeastern Colorado, all the way up to Lyman, or either Lemon, not sure how y'all pronounce that. But I think you guys have told me about a million times in Colorado, but I always manage to still get confused. But it looks like, rain switching to snow. It's trying to in the far western panhandle of Oklahoma, even the extreme northwestern corner of Texas, but I don't know if that's actually verifying a snow. If you live in this area, please let me know. But it is snowing pretty good, and it's going to continue. Even if it lets up over the next 24 hours, there's the potential that it'll kickstart again. So just want to show you what's going on with the radar right at this second. Watches, warnings, and advisories as far as this winter storm, and it does cut off areas of New Mexico, but winter storm warnings up for all of the counties of northern New Mexico, southern Colorado, southeastern Colorado. The pink is winter storm warnings. The kind of purple color right here, that's winter weather advisories. And the teal is winter storm watches. So they've actually dropped the winter storm warnings in like the Denver metro area, but they have reissued winter storm watches for another round of snow that's likely going to be on the way over the next 48 hours. So an incredible long duration event. So let's speak on New Mexico first. And let's just look at the latest HER model and what it's showing with this. So we start off this morning. We keep it going. We get all the way to about this afternoon. We got just kind of convective burst of snow, meaning that this snow falling could have a convective element to it. It could be very heavy. You could hear some rumbles of thunder, see some bolts of lightning. That's how this is setting up. Very dynamic system with this. And this continues throughout the afternoon all the way into early this evening. Snow is falling really heavy into northern New Mexico. Could mix with a little bit of rain in certain areas after being all snow. And then we get into the overnight hours. You could get a little bit of a break. You know, this is late this evening into about the middle of the night. Maybe not as widespread in coverage, but it could continue to snow all night, though, in like northern to northeast New Mexico. And then the coverage could become more widespread as we're waking up tomorrow morning. Snow begins to fall very heavy again across northern sections of New Mexico, starting to sneak back down into like Albuquerque, potentially central New Mexico. And then it just picks up in intensity once again. I mean, it gets very heavy snow. I'm talking about 1 to 2 inch per hour rates in some cases. But this continues, folks, all the way into tomorrow afternoon, all the way into tomorrow evening. And I think finally, as we're getting into late tomorrow night, the winter storm wraps up for New Mexico, but it's still cranking up in Colorado, which is what we'll talk about here in a second. So speaking of snowfall totals as far as New Mexico, this was updated a couple hours ago, so pretty new. This is additional snow that could fall, folks. Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Nevada. 24 to 30 inches of snow. Roy, 18 to 24 inches. Clayton, 12 to 18. Taos, 6 to 8. Red River, 24 to 30 inches of snow. Rayton, 12 to 18 inches of snow. You know, Albuquerque could get about an inch. Grant, 6 to 8 inches. So a lot of snow on the way for you folks. Pretty wild stuff. Let's move up to Colorado. Snow is becoming much more widespread again across Colorado. I mean, it's been widespread all night for certain areas. But what we'll watch for is just the intensity of the snow to really pick up, especially out in the high plains of Colorado. Snow could sneak back into the Denver metro area by this afternoon. We'll see if that happens. Could be like a rain-snow mix. If you live in extreme eastern Colorado, could mix with some rain as you're closer to that actual low pressure, a little bit more warm air to the surface and aloft. But man, Pueblo getting hit hard. All the areas and small towns east of the Rockies certainly getting hit very hard. And yeah, just basically the Denver metro points south down the Front Range. It's snowing like crazy, folks. We get into this evening. It's still snowing. And this batch of snow just continues. And honestly, you know, it's pretty wild. You know, this is getting actually... I'm sorry, I think I started a little bit late, so I'm all over the place. So let's just back up and punt here. And normally I would start the video over right there, but we're just going to keep rolling. So this is Thursday morning. I think when I was previewing the video, I was starting it off for Friday morning. So if you're a first-time viewer and you're like, dude, this guy's everywhere, it's been a rough last 24 hours for me. Trust me, it's a little bit more better flowing when I do these videos. So this is for Thursday morning. This is the snow falling right now. But it's the same difference, basically. I mean, we get into this afternoon. Snow is falling heavy. It's basically like you could copy and paste the radar image for this afternoon in Colorado and put it for the same time frame as tomorrow. But this is for tomorrow afternoon in Colorado. Snowing pretty heavy across the same areas I just mentioned, really. And then we start to get into this evening. Could become a little bit more convective in nature. Could get a little bit of thunder snow out in eastern Colorado. And then you get a little bit of a break. This is that break I was talking about. Like in the middle of the night tonight, you could get a little bit of a break with the snow falling in certain areas of Colorado. But then it turns around and just ramps back up again by the time we get into tomorrow morning. And this is like getting into about lunchtime tomorrow, maybe give or take an hour. The snow starts to creep back into the Denver metro area. It's snowing like crazy again in eastern Colorado. And that's why you do have winter storm watches in Denver. How far north does this axis, this northern extension of snow make it as far as up to the Denver metro area? But everybody points south, southeast, east of Denver. crushed with heavy snow. And I really do think this will make it to Denver. You know, this is like getting into tomorrow late evening for your Friday night. It's snowing. It's just pretty much an all week thing for Denver. And I mean, this goes out to 48 hours, but it is still snowing. It is still snowing in Colorado. And in fact, you look at the NAM and extend this a little bit further. Yeah, I mean, we take it all the way to midday Saturday, and it's still snowing in the Rockies. A little bit of snow might still be falling in Denver. So, I mean, what is it? Thursday morning? Pretty wild stuff. So, snowfall between now and 11 a.m. Saturday. Okay, this is for like the southern half of Colorado. Trinidad, 24 to 33 inches of snow. Thatcher, 22 to 29. La Junta, 5 to 10. Ordway, 6 to 10. Eads, 2 to 8. Lamar, 0 to 3. Springfield, pretty wild. Anywhere from an inch to 8 inches of snow. Colorado Springs, 8 to 12. Woodland Park, 11 to 17. Rush, 11 to 17. Yeah, hopefully you can see your area on here. Pretty insane stuff, guys. And then you look at further north in Colorado. You know, as of now, they don't have a new updated map. So this only goes out to about 5 a.m. tomorrow. I think they haven't issued a new map because they're still tweaking snowfall totals. But this is just between now and 5 a.m. tomorrow, local time. Another 6 to 8 inches of snow in Lyman. Colorado Springs, 4 to 6. The grand total will be higher. Maybe another 1 to 2 in Denver. But certainly try to find your area on your screen here. But, you know, extending this a little bit into, say, and this goes out to 5 a.m. Friday too, extending this all the way out to like areas of western Kansas, Goodland, maybe a trace to an inch. But this is just till 5 a.m. Tomorrow. So, but kind of a look at the National Weather Service forecast with this. This is between now and Friday morning. And then you extend this to Saturday morning. See how the snow begins to creep up the northern sections of the Front Range. And then we just go on and take it through the rest of the event. Denver, just right on the cusp of extremely heavy snowfall with this. But look down here, a lot heavier snow totals. And if you look at the HRRR model as far as snowfall totals, I would say it matches up pretty well with the National Weather Service forecast. So we'll continue to watch this, but the winter weather index with this, as far as how bad this winter storm will be, you got minor in the yellow, moderate in the orange, major in the red, and extreme in the purple. And man, there is a lot of areas in the extreme category in northern New Mexico and southern sections of Colorado, even out here in eastern Colorado. Extreme impacts expected from this. Denver, you know, this could certainly creep higher in this area. But Colorado Springs, definitely moderate to a major winter storm from this. So, pretty big deal, even for you guys' standards in Colorado and New Mexico. So, an update on the tropics. If this will come through, here it is. Category 2 hurricane still. Of course, it's lost a bit of its structure with the land interaction with Cuba. But still a powerful hurricane. You know, if this was August or September, October, I mean, even in November, it's very odd for these to go, I would say, east to west. Typically, this would be a threat to Florida, no doubt, in most cases. But this is definitely going against Climo and just being weird just because there's a huge ridge on top of the eastern U.S. That is what's steering this more east to west into the Gulf of Mexico. So I would say in any normal situation like this in November or October, this would be heading right towards Florida. But it is not. It kind of looks like it is. But this is definitely going to continue to go across the Gulf of Mexico and steadily weaken. I think this will be still a strong hurricane throughout the day, but it will start to lose some steam. But it's a 105 mile per hour hurricane as of right now. Still a category 2. And this is the latest cone, 105 mile per hour hurricane. By the time we get into this afternoon, 100. By the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, it's a 90 mile per hour category 1. And then by the time we get into, say, 1 p.m. Saturday, still could be a hurricane. And folks, I mean, even though they're saying this should be just a tropical storm by early next week, it could very well still be a hurricane. So we'll kind of be talking about this a little bit for a while, but I'll probably get less and less detailed on it unless this just does something kind of tricky. But you notice that the area really widens here. This tells us that there's some big time uncertainty on if this turns north or if it goes back south. And if we do look at a couple model models as far as the model guys. The GFS says, hey, it's going to get right here in the middle of the Gulf, and this is going to take the further north track. The thing is, the further north it gets, the cooler the sea surface temperatures, the higher the shear. So you notice that that number really begins to rise, indicating it's weakening significantly. And really, it never honestly comes and makes landfall. It actually just kind of stalls out in the Gulf of Mexico and weakens completely. And this takes us all the way out to like next Wednesday, and it just eventually just falls apart. And if we look at the Euro, it looks like we do have the latest Euro, so that's cool, the 06Z. If you look at the Euro here, kind of the same thing, you know, gets right here in the Gulf, in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and just kind of stalls in the west central areas of the Gulf, and eventually just falls apart. It was weird. I had a comment yesterday that said something like, and I just deleted it because it just irritated me too much. But it was just like, you know, get to the point. You said you're going to explain where this is going, but you never did. Well, I definitely did. So that's why I always just, you know, make sure, guys, you guys watch. If you want to update on a specific thing, I can almost promise you I'm going to tell you exactly what's showing here. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, as far as model guidance, you can tell that there's some confusion once it gets into the central central Gulf of Mexico. Some turn north, some head south, but I think regardless, this is going to weaken. I wouldn't be overly concerned. But as far as what's going on across the country, we got the big snowstorm we already spoke on. We got rain, much needed, just falling way too. We're getting way too much rain at one time here in South Carolina. We've had flash flood warnings. But it's raining pretty good across the eastern Carolinas, areas of Georgia. We got this area of activity across Kentucky and Tennessee and surrounding states. That's what's going on right now. Watches, warnings, and advisories. Winter storm warnings up, obviously, for New Mexico and Colorado in the pink. Flood watches up for areas of Oklahoma and Texas on the warm side. We continue to have flood watches up for areas of Georgia and South Carolina. And man, we've had some big time issues with fires already in Southern California. I'm hoping you guys can get some rain soon, because you guys have ongoing fires, and the winds are not helping because it's dry. And yeah, definitely even more serious situation could unfold over the coming days if we do not get some rain. So praying for you guys out here. The risk of excessive rainfall, we do have a slight risk here in areas of Oklahoma and Texas, which means we have a 15% risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance. And then down here in Georgia and South Carolina, we have that slight risk also. So be aware of that. And then the southeast, we will continue just to get on and off rain in southeastern Georgia, the low country of South Carolina. Elsewhere, just some scattered thunderstorms across the Gulf Coast, as you can tell down here. But things might taper off overnight in the southeast, and then, you know, you could get sort of the reforming of some showers that get going here in South Carolina once again. Could wake up to some heavy rain for your Friday morning again here in South Carolina. And yeah. The Northeast, pretty quiet weather. You know, not a ton going on. We get into this evening. You know, we get into the overnight hours. We could get some much needed rain down here in the southern sections of the Delmarva, Virginia. Hopefully we do get this rain, because we could certainly use it down here. Looks pretty good for it. So if you live in like Richmond to southern Maryland, coastal areas of Maryland, and just maybe even southern Delaware, maybe a little bit of rain later this evening. And then for Texas and Oklahoma, we get into this evening, and we're going to get numerous thunderstorms across western Texas into western Oklahoma. These could pack a punch. There's a slight risk of severe weather. In fact, I totally forgot to show you guys that. Now, you can tell I am just not on my A game this morning. There's that slight risk of severe weather for Texas. Level 2 out of 5 for a 2% risk of a tornado and a risk of damaging winds and hail. This does include that 20 corridor here: Odessa, Midland, Andrews, Big Spring, Big Lake, San Angelo, Sweetwater, Snyder. You guys have a slight risk of severe weather. So just be aware of that, and just taking a closer look at these thunderstorms. You know, they'll get going this afternoon. We could get numerous thunderstorms across central Texas, and then western Texas, it starts to get much more widespread. So be aware of this. These could pack a punch and definitely reach severe limits. And they could dump a whole lot of rain too, folks, from like Odessa to Amarillo. You guys could get a lot of rain from these Flash flooding will be a concern all the way into tomorrow morning. So just be aware of the storms in that area and rainfall between now and the next 24 hours. Lubbock going for maybe an inch or two. Between Lubbock and Seymour, maybe 2 to 3 inches. Between like Vernon, Texas, all the way up to Oklahoma City, a couple inches. Up to Elk City, Clinton, 2 to 3 inches. Amarillo could get an inch or two of rain. So a lot of rain is going to fall. The north central U.S., nothing. I mean, you guys are quiet. There ain't a whole lot of anything going on up here. Rain will become widespread across central Kansas. Didn't really mention that. And you guys need the rain in Kansas. So if you live in central to western Kansas, you're definitely going to get a lot of much needed moisture. Out west, besides the winter storm we've already broken down in another timestamp, everybody else is pretty quiet. Temperatures warm again and muggy across the southeast. Cooler once you get on the western side of Kentucky and Tennessee. So 40s and 50s, feeling more like fall once you get away from the southeast. And then out west, this is what it looks like. Of course, you got the cooler air where the snow is falling. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry about the messiness. I'm pretty sure most of you guys can understand. But talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. And yeah.